We're going to get into this program in a minute, man, and I will introduce myself. But first things first, one of the things that I've loved that Race Forward and Americans for the Art has done, they've been very intentional about coming to St. Louis and having this being held here. And one of the things that I truly appreciate is that they have been tapping in, y'all, with different individuals, different organizations throughout the city. And who I'm about to bring to the stage right now has been their local liaison, their local connector, and somebody who is a good friend of mine. So I need y'all to put your hands together and show your love for Miss Melanie Randall. Come on up here, Mel. Get on up here, Mel. They're right.
I am Melanie Marie. I am the local coordinator for the Facing Race Conference coming in November. We'll talk a little bit more about that, right? I'm also a community organizer. My most recent work has been with Chosen for Change, Michael Brown Sr.'s organization, and galvanizing the community in Ferguson and throughout the region. I've been asked to welcome you all into the space today. I'm so grateful that the Cultural Week of Action on Race and Democracy is set to be in St. Louis tonight. We are honored to have you all. This is a big deal, right? Let's give us a hand. I want to take a moment to ground us in our current political climate. This week, we lost Marcellus Williams to the system. Although he was deemed and could have been exonerated for his accusations, he was executed anyway. A lot of us are blaming the system itself, not realizing that we are a part of the system and that many of us could have stopped the execution of Marcellus Williams by getting into the polls. We have to be accountable for that. We do have another opportunity, though, in November. It is really up to us to make sure that we are getting people in those positions that can make changes within this broken system. I want to take a moment and give Marcellus Williams a moment of silence, just 30 seconds. Continue to think about the 23 years that he sat in a cell for a crime that he did not commit. Think about all the lives that we could have saved had we put our vote in the ballot box. There has been 59 people executed since 2017. I believe those are the numbers. And that is the 30 seconds. Thank you all for that. Again, I welcome you to the Cultural Week of Action on Race and Democracy kickoff. I want to also invite you all to the Facing Race Conference in November. Give Facing Race a big hand now, right now. We are expecting 4,000 people at the America Center, November the 20th through the 22nd. We have already sold almost 3,000 tickets. This conference is the largest multiracial justice conference in the nation, and they have decided yet again to kick things off in St. Louis. So we want to make sure that we are supporting Race Forward, supporting the Facing Race team, and coming out. We'll have vendors, we'll have this exhibit elevated. We have so much in store. So we want to make sure that everyone's coming out. There is a QR code next to the food back there. Click that QR code to get more information about Facing Race. Again, I'm Melanie Marie. Thank you all for coming out. I forgot something. I did. I'm also supposed to be introducing our host tonight. He has been on the microphone already. This is Reggie's son, AKA Shorty the Prince, Jordan Johnson. Okay, I'm happy that it is him that was chosen for this because he has such a great connection to the community. His voice always resonates with people, particularly young people, to bring them out. And so we are happy to have you, Shorty. and we welcome you to the mic.
Thank you. Come on, sister, bring it in. Oh, that's love. Big old St. Louis energy, man. Okay, first things first, we gotta break the room real quick, find out who all we got in here. So I know we got a lot of different people from all over and people from here. So if you are not from St. Louis, if you came from out of town, make some noise real quick. Let me hear you, let me hear you. Okay, welcome to the Lou. If you from the Lou, if you from the Show Me State and you live here, make some noise one time. Boy, big old St. Louis energy, y'all finna have me get the hidden. Yeah, man, so I go by the name of Shorty the Prince, Jordan Johnson, what my mama and daddy named me, man. I'm born and raised here in St. Louis. I'm a product of St. Louis Public Schools, Southside representative, but really connected to all parts of St. Louis, man. Just a quick backstory on myself. I got on the radio when I was 12 years old, the youngest ever employee for what is now iHeartRadio, which was Clear Channel back then, and was blessed and fortunate enough to take my talents all over the country, from moving to Detroit to hosting BET 106 in Park to hosting Knock Knock Live with Ryan Seacrest. And the whole time, everything that I've done, my true passion and drive for doing it is really for this city, man. St. Louis is some of the most passionate individuals that you'll ever come across. So much so that, like, you know, being from St. Louis, we're going to point out it could be a sporting event, whatever it is, we're going to be like, you know, he's from St. Louis, right? You know, that's like our thing, you know. So I'm so fortunate that, like I said, Race Forward, and they have been very intentional about picking St. Louis as the spot that they want to kick off the cultural week of action against race and democracy. But we want y'all to understand, this is a big deal, okay? This is not only happening in St. Louis. There are over 60 events happening throughout this whole week across the whole country, but St. Louis is the focal point. So I want y'all to give it up for STL being the center of what's going on right now. All right? Now, we the Show Me State for the reason, baby, because we like to show you. We like to show up and show out. So we got a lot of showing that's going to be happening tonight. I want to shout out Story Stitcher's going to be coming up doing a performance. I want to shout out Gangstagrass in the building, going to be killing the performance. I want to shout out Chosen for Change that's here. If y'all have not already checked out this exhibit, for those of you who don't know, man, this marks the 10-year. I don't even like to say anniversary, because anniversary sounds like celebratory, but this is the 10-year marking since we lost Mike Brown Jr. And Senior has been doing so much, man, so much to keep his son's name alive and make sure that, you know, nothing like that ever happens again. And it's a continuous fight, right? It's a continuous fight, and that's why what we are moving off of for the Cultural Week of Action is building a bigger we, okay? That is the whole baseline of everything that's going on for Cultural Week of Action. So I need everybody to say, building a bigger we, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Building a bigger we, okay? Because there is power in we, there is power in us, there is power in us coming together, because just like a fist, when you ball it up, we are stronger together. I think that if we have certain conversations, you will understand that we have way more similarities than differences, okay? So when you came in here tonight, I hope that you had a conversation with somebody that you know, or maybe somebody you don't know. Before you leave here tonight, make sure you do that. And sometimes I feel like those little gestures are the little things that can lead to the bigger change. We spend a lot of time walking around with our heads down and our phones and whatnot, but sometimes just opening up conversation with that person that you don't know, you never know how that can affect their day or change their perspective about somebody that may be from a different background, okay? So first thing first, one of the biggest St. Louis question is, on the count of 3, scream out what high school you went to. 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right, something. I heard you, Bulldog. I heard you now. Okay, all right. Another thing that's going to bring us together. I said, what's that #1 zodiac sign? I said, what's that #1 zodiac sign? I heard Virgo. That's what I heard. What is it, Libra season right now? Shout out to the Libras. Shout out to the Leavers. Man, we got a great schedule of events happening for you tonight. Are y'all ready for it? I say, are y'all ready for it? That's right. Bar is open, so drinks on me, okay? Yeah, let's take advantage of that. Make sure you leave a little tip or something. Don't be one of them people. You know what I'm saying? And make sure you please give your love and attention and respect to everybody that comes to this stage, man, because it takes a lot to get up here and do your thing in front of people and whatnot. Okay, so what I want to do right now is I want to bring up the president of Race Forward. Is it that time? Are we ready? Okay, all right, man. So what I want you to do is show your love for Glenn Harris and also the co-CEO of Americans for the Arts, Miss Jamie Bennett. So make your noise for Glenn Harris and Jamie Bennett.
Hello, St. Louis. It is such a pleasure to be here with you all tonight. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for coming out and supporting building a bigger we. Want to talk a little bit about that before we jump in. Wanted to take an opportunity to do some brief introductions. My name is Glenn Harris. I'm the president of Race Forward. Race Forward is a 42-year-old organization nationally committed to moving racial justice. We work really at the intersection of racial justice and governance with a simple idea that we can together make real what a just multiracial democratic society could really be. And I got the great pleasure of joining me tonight with Jamie from Americans for the Arts.
Thanks so much, Glenn. And I'm Jamie, and I'm one of the 3 representatives from Americans for the Arts here tonight. My colleagues April Harris and Dr. Jenna Stiles-Lias are out there somewhere representing us as well. And Americans for the Arts, they're great, yes, please. Jenna and April are the ones who did all of this. And Americans for the Arts really works at the intersection of arts and democracy. We understand both that arts and culture are central to the future of democracy, and that every single elected, appointed career official in government needs to work with arts and culture. They represent all of us all the time, not just the cultural agencies.
Beautiful. Jamie's trying to show me up. I likewise, I do want to thank Jenna and April if they're in the room, but I got to give some mad love to my team. And so I want to ask Rachel, the conferences and convenings team, Melanie, who was just on stage with us, who, oh my goodness, such a gift in being able to work with her, to stand up. Can I get the Race Forward folks to stand up? Can we give them some love for making this happen? There's LG. Thank you all, really and truly. You all know the truth is that good things only happen by good people, right? And it had me reflecting a little bit on how we actually got here to the Cultural Week of Action on Race and Democracy. Dear colleague, Julie Nelson and I had a conversation many years ago that was rooted in a really simple idea. We were like, arts and culture can change the world. And what would it really mean to be able to center Black and brown culture makers that created space for us to imagine the country we all deserve, right? And 10 years later, sometimes good ideas take a little bit of time. We're here kicking off what will be, we all hope, the first annual Cultural Week of Action on Race and Democracy. I'm a huge fan of civil rights activist Vincent Harding. Played a really critical role in my understanding of racial justice and what it means to be a Black person living in this country. And he has this quote that said, I think that I am a citizen of a country that does not exist yet. I'm a citizen of a country that does not exist yet. And I'd really like to believe that arts and culture allow us to not only imagine that country, but to live into it, to make it real. And that's why the beauty of it is Shorty named. We have 60 events occurring across the country. The beauty of engaging in this idea is not only do we have those sites occurring across the country, but we were literally joined by Finland, the country of Finland, and Brazil, in recognizing that in this moment, it is a global moment for us to get real about what it means for us, for those of us who are committed to democracy, for those of us who are committed to justice, to stand firm in our ideals. And I wanted just to lift up that at the end of the day, arts and culture allows us to think about our past in a way that creates space for a different kind of conversation. And talking about our past is critical in being real about the moment we find ourselves in, right? Melanie named it. We're 10 years after the uprising that took off across the world, but started here in St. Louis and Ferguson. But the truth is, whether it's Marcellus or whether it's any number of Black and brown people that we know still on a daily are not experiencing what really is justice, we still have much work to do. And the beauty of arts and culture is that it allows us not only to think about our past and present, it really is what allows us to imagine a different future. And so just wanted to say thank you all for being with us and genuinely excited about what's coming for you on stage tonight.
Thank you, Glenn. And really what I'll just add is, since Glenn and I have started talking about this project and this notion of building a bigger we at Americans for the Arts have been thinking about the project of creating a national identity that's big enough to hold us all, right? And it's big enough to hold us all in all of our complexities. And one of my first teachers in this space is an amazing curator in Chicago called Alika Wally, who was studying drumming circles in the parks in Chicago. And she actually realized that making art together creates a shared identity, and an identity that transcends race, ethnicity, country of origin, socioeconomic status, gender, and it's durable beyond the art event, right? And so you have people from different cultural heritages coming together over a shared love of music. They don't need to become more like each other to become more closely bonded with each other, right? I love the accordion because my people are Polish and we polka. You love the accordion because you're Argentine and you tango. We come together over a shared love of dance. So arts and culture really is a way that we can begin thinking about an integrated society without assimilation. We can actually celebrate the things that make us different, and that's what brings us even closer together. And Glenn, we've got a bunch of stuff happening around the country, projects that are doing that, and I think you're going to tell a few of them.
I'm going to share, give you all just a little bit of the flavor of what's happening over the course of this week. We named the 60 different events occurring across the country and in Finland and Brazil. Let me just name a few of them. First, As I See You exhibit that's installed here tonight. And it's one of 14 projects that Race Forward and Americans for the Arts funded to seed this conversation nationally. There's a Black Futures newsstand in Chicago that's imagining what a media ecosystem could look like that actually loves Black people. In Alaska, there's a GOTV campaign featuring indigenous artists' representation of what does building the bigger we mean for the indigenous community and what can we learn from it. And the cool part is they're projecting the artwork from it on buildings and landscapes across the state. There's a rally for culture in Cleveland, which consists of a week of programming with local community partners and a cultural organizing summit in Birmingham, Alabama. There's just a few of the examples, and really just wanting to encourage you all to go to the website, see the amazing work that's happening, and share it with folks. The real point of this is to engage a dialogue and create a call for action.
And the good news is I have two last things to do, and then the boring part of this evening is over. So the first thing I want to do is thank all of the organizations that came together with Race Forward and Americans for the Arts to help us collectively not just dream about the future, but actually make that future so delicious that we have to have it now. And those include People's Action, Equitable Cities, Policy Link, the AAPI Civic Engagement Fund, the Othering and Belonging Institute, thank you, Professor Powell, German Marshall Fund, National Civic League, Four Freedoms, World Cities Cultural Forum, the Jimon Hansu Foundation, the National League of Cities, the Black Legislative Leaders Network, the Narrative Initiative, and Narrative Arts. And then I also want to invite everyone to come back, stay here in St. Louis, because on October 2nd, there's another extraordinary event that's going to be another sort of bookend to this week, which is an extraordinary performance of the Drum Major Instinct, Dr. King's very important speech. It's going to be read by an amazing actor called Chad Coleman, who you might know from The Wire and The Walking Dead, and it's going to feature some extraordinary music by Dr. Phil Woodmore and his choir, who you're going to hear tonight. So get excited, get hungry tonight, and I think with that, we're going to turn things back over to Shorty and let the real stuff start happening. So thank you all very much for being with us tonight.
Can we give it up for Glenn and Jamie one time, man, please? Please a little louder, please a little louder, please a little louder. Thank you, thank you. You know, that's amazing that this is the kickoff to the Cultural Week of Action, because they are actually putting action to what needs to be done. At the end of the day, if we want change, we got to do something. We could be online, we could retweet, we can express our frustration as much as we want to, but actually showing up and doing something is where the change comes. So right now, give it up for yourself for showing up tonight, because this is beautiful. We're trying to figure out ways that we can make democracy and our political process work in our communities, and think of creative ways to do that. So that's why we have a lot of creative ways of expression tonight that's gonna hit this stage, as well as information given from people throughout the city, throughout the country. And also to all those other events that's going on in other cities, we all got people everywhere. So if you see something that you may know somebody in Chicago or in Ohio, whatever it is, hit your people up and tell them to pull up, man, because we definitely need to see the numbers behind what's going on, okay? We got it? All right, what we're going to do right now, man, is bring up another good person of mine. Everybody from St. Louis, my people. Everybody like cousins. Right now, State Representative Lakeisha Fraser-Bosley is coming to the stage to let us know the importance of the political policies and choices that we make. So y'all make some noise for Miss Lakeisha Bosley. Oh, there she go. She right there. She right there.
Hey, y'all. No, see, look, I'm an energy person. Y'all mind if I take this up off of here? Because I can't just stand behind a podium. Hey, y'all. Amen. I need y'all to respond to me like this is a Baptist church. Good evening. Hallelujah. My name is Lakeisha Bosley. I am the state representative of the 79th District. Welcome to the best darn district in the entire state of Missouri. We are in it right now. And I think that it's important for us to understand the importance of St. Louis and how St. Louis shapes art throughout the country. And we're being here in a very pivotal state. Democracy is on the line, and we used art right here in this city to change the narrative time and time and time again. I know that we just gave honor to Marcellus Williams, but we have another execution coming up in December. We cannot stop now. We have to keep going. We have to use the fashion. We have to use our paintings. We have to use our poetry as a means of uprooting, upsetting democracy as it stands. Now, you may look at me and say, oh, she looks kind of young. I am. And I'm going to take that. And we're going to keep going with it, okay? I was elected at 24 years old. Thank you. Sworn in 2 days after my 25th birthday. It is not an easy thing to grow up in the public eye, but I did it. I did it because I could see people like you needing and wanting the change. The reason why I ran for office is because I had a lot of people in my community who said, I can't vote, I'm a felon. I said, well, why can't you? Are you on papers? Are you on probation? Are you on parole? Well, no, I'm not on probation or parole. I said, okay, well, you know that you can vote right now in this very moment as long as you're not on papers. It's important for us to note that. So when you go out into the community, when you go out and talk to people, you tell them that. You tell them that they have their voice. They can vote. Right now, we've got people sitting in the jails who are just waiting for trial, who have not been convicted of a crime, and they can vote. If they down there in Boone Terre, if they down there in Cape Girardeau County, if they are out there in Jackson County, if they out there in Texas County, how many of y'all knew we had a Texas County right here in Missouri? No? See, we have 114 counties throughout this entire state, and we have jails in each and every one of these counties. And we have people who are just sitting there waiting trial, who have not been convicted of a crime. And you can each one teach one. You can now go out there and you can advocate and you can tell people, hey, I want to make sure that you know that you have the right to vote. You can register, and on top of you registering, you can sign an absentee ballot. That's how you do that. Because they use that as a means of not allowing us to have our access. I didn't come up here to preach to y'all, but I kind of did. See, the Lord put it on my heart because somebody out there listening. So in saying this, because I know I got like 1 minute left, in saying this, you do not have to wait your turn. Your turn is now. We love Michelle, right? And what Michelle say? Do something. I need y'all to say it with me. What did Michelle Obama say? Do something. That wasn't good enough for me. I'm going to walk over here. What did Michelle Obama say? Okay, we're going to have a battle. One more time, over here. What did Michelle Obama say? Do something. You have the opportunity to do something. You have the opportunity right now to do something. And I am pleading with you to do something. Even if it's not your turn, it is somebody else's. Even if you feel like it is not your ministry, you may never know how God is leading you to touch somebody else. So I'm going to end it here. Make sure you use your art and your poetry and your voices for something bigger and better than yourself, because we are all connected by love in some way, shape, form, or fashion. My name is Lakeisha Bosley. It was great to talk to you, and welcome to the most beautiful city in the whole United States of America. Thank you.
You better tell him. You better tell him, Lakeisha. You better let him know, good sister. Okay? You better let him know. Oh, Jesus. Show of hands. How many people in here are already registered to vote? Okay. Okay, I see a lot of hands. If you aren't, though, and you just raised your hand and you was lying to me, it's cool. Because on the tables, there are QR codes where you can go ahead and get that done. Listen, people, this is not the time to be silent. Okay? We got to let our voice and our vote be heard. Y'all with me? All right. All right. Coming up next, y'all, this exhibit over here that I was talking about earlier is by Chosen for Change. And Mike Brown Sr. is in here tonight. And I just want to commend his strength. His strength for something that was so gruesome and so public, for him to stand 10 and continue to walk and talk and fight and do and show up. Because, if he didn't have the power to do so, you wouldn't even be able to blame him, right? When you go through something tragic like that, there is no playbook or textbook on how to grieve or deal with something traumatic. And I think that's one of the biggest things that we go through, especially our people, is, we born with trauma in our bloodline. And for us to continue to still witness it to happen is something that you just got to commend people for being able to stand up and let their voice be heard and fight back and talk back and let them know we ain't going for that, okay? So what I want y'all to do for real, I need y'all to stand and give it up for Mike Brown Sr. and Chosen for Change as they make their way to the stage right now. Stand on your feet. Stand on your feet. Stand on your feet, please. And show your love. Big Mike, Big Mike.
Since I gotta introduce myself first. All right. So my name is Michael Brown Sr. I'm the father of Michael Brown Jr. I am the co-founder of Chosen for Change, the Michael Brown Sr. Chosen for Change organization, and the president.
Good evening. My name is Cal Brown. I am the co-founder and executive director of the Michael Brown Sr. Chosen for Change organization, where we provide care and support to fathers and families who are processing the unthinkable. Our vision is to transform lives and transform hurting communities. More than 57% of the St. Louis region is affected by grief, loss, and trauma.
So I want y'all to give it up for mothers of an angel at this table, right here. I don't have none of my chosen fathers here yet. Oh, there go one in the back. Okay. So that's one of our programs. We have chosen fathers that's up on the umbrella of Chosen for Change, and mothers of an angel. These are both entities of families that have lost their loved ones that's in the program.
We have COPES, Children Overcoming Painful Experiences with Support. We have Level Up for Literacy, where Black men go into the school and give kids a safe space to learn to read.
So we have another program called First 48 that's about to get launched. This will be a program where when families are going through what our family went through, we will be able to be on the scene at the time to give them the tools to move forward, because we know that we have vultures coming in to these families and stealing their pain and getting money off they dead ones, lives. So we want to be part of that, and that's a big entity right there that we are definitely working on.
I am also the curator of the As I See You exhibit. It is my contribution to who Mike Brown Jr. was. Before the family of Mike Brown could even get a condolences, the narrative was created about everything that he was not. So I wanted to create a space where people would remember who Mike Brown was. Thank you.
Y'all give it up for Mike Brown Sr. and Kyle. Thank y'all so much. Please, if you haven't checked out the exhibit, make sure you do that before you leave. Make sure you post about it, tell people about it, everything that's going on here, man. Remember, this is the kickoff to the week, so it's going to be a full week of activity and things going on. And tonight, man, we going to be blessed with a few performances on this stage, and I'm honored to bring up this next group of young individuals. Man, they got their energy, man. I was over there talking to them before the program kicked off, man, and I just remember when I was younger and first started performing and how much moments like this and people feeding me energy while I was on that stage motivated me to keep going. So like I said earlier, everybody who comes to this stage, man, show them your love, give them your attention, give them your energy as they do their thing. And right about now, we're going to bring to the stage Story Stitchers.
Yeah. Look, OG told me about the stories from the past, back when people like us had lashes on our backs, fighting demons, steady dreaming that freedom's in our grasp, moving through these different regions, seeking freedom that's gon' let me tell you where I'm from, a place that look like the slums, mothers losing their sons and you never see the sun, youth carrying guns, our troops scary to some, a place that's filled with history but we remember none. I want to change it all, heal the pain and scars, my peers behind bars, I'm here with open arms, see many leaders fall, but I'ma stand tall, despite the oppositions that we might come across.
Whenever we come across, wherever the way gets lost, we'll march on, we'll march on. Whatever comes our way, whatever the storms we face, we'll march on, we'll march on.
Keep on marching on.
We keep on marching on. We keep on marching on.
We can't walk alone.
We can't walk alone.
Keep on marching on.
We keep on marching on. We keep on marching on.
We can't walk alone.
Check. We can't walk alone. We can't walk alone.
I'm hurt cause they was taking chances. Results of the seeds that got planted. We can't fumble what was handed. Humble beginnings where half the neighborhood abandoned. So if they take that for granted, it's results of they damage. Another story for another college graduation. See him smile as his mother cries. Had to keep him busy so we ended up with other guys. Now they all in chains, reminiscing of the time before we made it across the southern line. Nightfall came, they had to sneak us to the other side. Now we on the other side, picking up the torch to take it further than the others tried. That's how you grow, and before we take off, we look back and let them know that either way it goes.
Whatever we come across, wherever the way gets lost,
we'll march on.
We keep on marching on. We keep on marching on.
whatever comes our way, wherever the storms we face,
We'll march on.
We keep on marching on. We keep on marching on.
Keep on marching on.
We keep on marching on. We keep on marching on.
We can't walk alone.
We can't walk alone. We can't walk alone.
Keep on marching on.
We keep on marching on. We keep on marching on.
We can't walk alone.
Yeah.
We can't walk alone.
We can't walk alone.
Gotta keep on marching on, and we can't walk alone. Gotta keep marching on, and we gotta keep on marching on.
Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all so much. We are the St. Louis Story Stitchers, a nonprofit arts organization that works to combat inner city issues through healthy forms of expression. So singing, dancing, rapping, poetry, podcasting, a whole bunch of stuff. We serve youth in between the ages of 16 to 25. So if you know youth that are looking for opportunities to hone their craft, you know what I'm saying, or that are looking for a safe space, you know what I'm saying, where they can just kind of exist as who they are, we 100% encourage you to stop by our booth and talk to us because we think we got a place for them. And that being said, we want to give y'all a little bit of spoken word poetry before we give y'all another song. Is that cool? Y'all good with that? Y'all good with that? All right, so I don't know if y'all hip. This is a really elegant crowd, so I'm sure y'all already know. But when a spoken word poet come up, you know what I'm saying, and they say something that you like or that you rocking with, it's this thing we do to show appreciation, right? You know what I'm saying? In most cases, you would clap, but for poetry specifically, you know what I'm saying, if you hear somebody say a fire bar, you're supposed to snap, you feel me? So let's just practice. Let's just act like I just said something fire. Fire, fire. That being said, y'all, please make some noise for our poet, Houston.
Peace and blessings, peace and blessings. Clouded visions fills my mind with fog, with sins infectious towards my inner dialogue. Can't see past thoughts of negativity, reliving the past blinds the beauty of positivity. While I chase the false prophets around me, I'm in a space of separation and duality. However, my attention is in focus on the decision whether I choose tension or righteous ascension. Perception is the key to see the real me. Loving the real me brings joy for eternity. The biggest symptom of self-realization was wisdom, which transformed me into a victor and not a victim. Thank you.
How y'all doing tonight? Good. Yes. So my name is Tredown Inspires, and so I'm going to teach you this next song because it's a call and response. And this song is called Who's Ready? It's something that's dear to my heart. And so this is how it goes. I would say, who's ready? And y'all repeat with, we're ready. So let's try that. Who's ready? Who's ready? We're ready. Okay. And then the last part is, we're ready for the violence to stop. So let's try that. 1, 2, 3. We're ready for the violence to stop. One more time. 1, 2, 3. Okay. We're ready. Let's get it.
I've been drowning in sorrow-filled water fountains, not asking for pity parties, no party partners around. But I've calculated the odds, and with good is no one to count. Count it up, count it down, I've already been counted out. It don't matter. Show too much of my valor, give up in hard times I have it. But from the data I've gathered, rumor has it the captured act like they captors, the captors act like they captured. Ain't never been down with movement unless the movement is backwards. But I'm ready.
We're ready for the violence to stop.
Who's
ready? We're ready for the change to come. Who's ready? We're ready for a revolution.
Who's ready?
We're ready for the violence to stop.
1, 2, 3. Who's ready? Who's ready? We're ready. One more time.
We're ready for the violence to stop.
1, 2, 3. Who's ready? Who's ready? We're ready.
We're ready for the violence to stop.
Get 'em. We are the R.E.Volution, the kids of the future, the change to come. Put the gun down, stop aiming at our heads. Don't put us in the dirt, feeling like the target on a story stitcher shirt. But we can talk it out, we should talk it out. Listen, can't you hear our voices now singing? We should overcome any stereotype. Not the ones to conform, but to give off life. We had the power in our hands, so we the people need to vote. The biggest generation has the hardest time trying to cope with pain. Seems like every other day it rains in my hood, but somehow we still saying that it's all good. It's not. Black on black crime, got the city in the prime of his worst time. I'm hurt time cause I'm first time with a piece. Instead of slaying a lie, they complain about the streets. Don't give up on this now, this the start, it's so unique. Clap your hands, y'all. Clap your hands, y'all.
We will not be silenced. It's time for a revolution.
One more time, look.
No more violence. Put down the gun. We will not be silenced.
Okay.
It's time
Now
for
we see if y'all
revolution.
listening. Who's ready?
We're ready.
We're ready for the violence to stop. Look, who's ready?
We're ready.
We're ready for the change to come. Who's ready?
We're ready.
We're ready for the revolution. Who's ready? Who's ready? We're ready. We're ready for the violence to stop. Who's ready? Fire. Thank y'all so much. We are the St. Louis Story Stitches. Race Forward. Thank y'all so much for having us. It's a beautiful event. Please keep showing us. Please keep showing up. Mike Brown Sr., Cal Brown, our hearts are still with you. Thank y'all so much for the work y'all doing. And rest in peace to Marcellus Williams. Thank y'all.
Coming up next, we're going to have a panel discussion. And this is talking about creating a new democracy, okay? So I need to have your eyes and ears open and give it up for these speakers coming to stage right now, man. Beyond the Frame, creating a new democracy here at the kickoff. At the kickoff, y'all, we here. St. Louis, make some noise.
Hi, everyone. Okay, hi. My name is Rinku Sen, and it's really a thrill to be here with all of you. I love this city, and I love Race Forward, and I love this panel, so life is good right now. we are going to spend a little time talking about the relationship between art and race and democracy, and how we make more art and more democracy, maybe less race in the world. So I want to first introduce my panel and then say a couple of opening things, and then we're going to roll right into our discussion. So right here we have Joseph Orsal. Joseph is a first-generation Washingtonian, graduate of the Corcoran College of Art with a master's in curatorial practice from MICA, and the founder of Nomu Nomu in 2014, which Joseph created as a space for artists to challenge systemic oppression through creative expression. Over time, Nomu Nomu has grown into a dynamic arts platform driven by strategic partnerships with prominent institutions like Long Live Go-Go, the Washington Project for the Arts, the Hirshhorn Museum, the Martin Luther King Jr. Library, and the Phillips Collection in DC. These collaborations have expanded Nomu Nomu's influence and positioned it as an emerging arts ecosystem in Baltimore. Focused on inclusivity, radical pedagogy, and wellness, the gallery offers diverse programming that empowers both artists and the community, fostering a space where art and activism thrive together. Next to Joseph is my longtime friend, Fabiana Rodriguez, an award-winning artist, cultural strategist, and president of the Center for Cultural Power. Fabiana is regarded as one of the leading thinkers and personalities uniting art, culture, and social impact. She collaborates with social movements around the world to co-create narrative and cultural strategies that are resilient and transformative. Fabiana embodies the perspective of a first-generation American Latina artist with Afro-Peruvian roots. As a nationally celebrated artist known for her leadership, vision, tenacity, I can vouch for that, and wide-ranging sphere of influence, Fabiana also helps lead cultural strategy design and investment by helping to organize the philanthropic sector, donors, the money people. And next to Fabiana, we have our son, the voice of reason. An old dude with a Philly attitude, rhyme skills, and true school flavor, adds 2 degrees in criminal justice and 40 years of comic book nerdery. He puts a mic in his hands, links up with some of the dopest cats around, and becomes our son, the voice of reason. An MC's MC, delivering extraordinary wordplay and freestyle fire alone with mental advisory and the world's greatest bluegrass hip-hop band, Gangstagrass, which I think we're going to hear from in a little bit tonight. That's going to be super exciting. So here's my little story. I am pretty old. I've logged a few years. And it's only recently that I discovered I really love painting. I started painting. I love it. It's my balm and my refuge. And it brings a lot of color and beauty into my life. So sometimes I fantasize about now, in my old age, going to art school. So I was talking to my friend who is 87 and who grew up on a farm in northern New York. And I was telling my friend my fantasy of going to art school. I was like, I really think I'd like to go to art school. And I'd be going, at the end of my career, not at the beginning. And she said to me, and what would you do with that? As though I was gonna have anything to do with that other than make art. However, the painter, Sarah Say, says, feeling good from your art, that's not enough. You have to make a political moment. You have to create a political moment. So for all of us on this panel, I think we get joy out of making the art that we make, but joy is not the only reason we make it. And we're going to use this panel to explore some of the other great things that we try to generate out of our art. So, first question, we're going to start with Fabiana. And the question is, how do the three of you, starting with Favi, how do you see art feeding a culture and practice of democracy toward racial justice. What does imagination, beauty, color, what do these things have to do with action?
Yeah, good evening, everybody. I'm really excited and honored to be here. And so how many artists do we have in the room? Raise your hand if you're an artist or a musician or a writer or a creative person. Wonderful. So what you all know about art is that art is how we express ourselves, how we celebrate our culture, right? As human beings, since the beginning of time, we have been sitting around a fire telling each other stories. We've been drawing in caves and dancing. And so art is a way of being human. And through art, we can express joy and sorrow and sadness and triumph. Every single human emotion we can do through art. And so the power of art is that it takes us places. It opens our imagination. It shows us what's possible. Like Wakanda, right? Wakanda, when we were watching Black Panther for the first time and we saw a place that didn't exist in reality, but it exists in our imagination. And that's the power of art, is that it can take us places that don't exist in the real world, but it helps us then think, oh, why doesn't that exist? How do we make that real? And so we need art for organizing, because the reality is the people who run this country have a very small imagination. They have an imagination that's limited by racism and colonialism. And they're going to take a very long time to pass all the laws that we need. But through art, through music, through all these things that show us a different way, show us the light at the end of the tunnel, we can actually build a culture that helps us feel it. And then when we feel it, we want it more. And we're like, okay, that's where we're going. And that helps move the whole political realm. But all of you who are artists, we do those ideas first. We normalize them and we introduce them to society.
Early adopters, awesome. Joseph, you've created a space in Baltimore that artists and community who might not think of themselves as artists come together. Tell us what you've been able to see happen in that space.
Okay, so
just
say that
right
again?
into the center of it.
Okay.
So I'm curious about what the space that you've built in Baltimore, how it's helping artists and community come together, how it's activating people. What's happening there?
Yeah, similar to what you were saying, I think it's about building. There's a gap between activism and artists that can be strengthened, or a bridge can be built where both can be happening at the same time. So that's what our space is trying to do, is imagining what's possible in a space where two different professions or passions are coming together to figure out problems.
Awesome. So the passion of artists and the passion of activists coming together in the same space.
Exactly.
Yeah. Great. Arson, how about you? What does music have to do with all of this? How does that move us?
I was born August 25th, 1973, 2 weeks after the official birthday of hip hop culture, right? And so coming up with it at the same time, immersed in the culture as much as I was and as I am, you see and you saw that the culture, a lot of it sort of changed with the society. And for me, it didn't feel like it was making the culture change with it, and then the shift sort of happened where it changed with the larger American culture, which for me felt like maybe not the most productive way to go, right? So the music that I've been doing, the music that I do with Gangstagrass, the idea behind it is that, there are these larger societal issues that we're all sort of dealing with, but at the end of the day, we're all in the same situation. So from hip hop culture to a lot of the people that I've encountered in bluegrass and bluegrass, like they're coming from the same roots, right? They're all sort of interconnected in that these are people in a space that didn't have a whole lot, but they had something to say, and they wanted to be able to express that. And whether it was, you know, a bunch of cats on a porch somewhere in the Appalachian Mountains with a fiddle and a banjo or whatever doing their thing and creating their songs, or to a bunch of different hip hop cats in any urban sector all over the country, but beginning up in the Bronx, creating that space, creating that music, creating their artwork with graffiti and all that sort of stuff, and expressing themselves through dance. All of that stuff it exists in various pockets all over the country, and it's projected differently, but it's all coming from the same place. So the idea of really uniting a lot of that same sort of energy and that same sort of angst, and, you know, recognizing where we are all at and where we need to be is very much the same throughout the country, right? And sort of uniting all of that, it has been, you know, what we're doing with Gangstagrass and what I've been trying to do.
Yeah, so what I hear y'all saying is art has the ability to bring people together who might not otherwise have found each other in a kind of common, in a common experience, and that imagination matters to solving the problems that we are all wanting to solve in this society. So I'm curious about what some of the ideas or themes, narratives, stories you're trying to move forward, all three of you, in your own art and through the collaborations that you do with folks. So here we're going to start with Arson, actually, and yeah, we'd love to hear more about some of those ideas.
So I've been writing as an MC. I've been an MC for 40 some years, and just sort of creating on my own. I connected with a bunch of cats up at Penn State University in the 90s, where I really started creating my own music and whatnot. One of those cats that I linked up with was my partner Dolio the Sleuth, who's also in Gangstagrass with me. And building with the people that I was building with was a lot of the idea was, it was very hip hop, and it was like, yeah, I'm the best, blah, 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 that sort of thing. But at the same time, sort of, as you're doing that, trying to not get wrapped up in a lot of the stuff that just wasn't me. You know what I'm saying? The band is called Gangstagrass, and it's more of an alliteration kind of thing. It's nobody less gangster than me. I'm a much more imaginative sort of dude. And so the idea of when I linked up with Doleo and Wrench with Gangstagrass is that, like, you know, you have these, like I said, these ideas and these concepts and you know, these ways of being that exist throughout the country, and a lot of people don't even know about them and how similar they are. One of the things that we talk about is in bluegrass is a thing called a pick, and, you know, guys will just be sort of trading their solos around and that kind of thing. The same sort of thing exists in hip hop, you know, in a cipher where cats are just trading rhymes back and forth. And in that situation, you're building and you're creating. And, you know, when we go to, you know, rural Appalachia and we're doing the stuff that we're doing, people get that, right? And when we take this to, you know, to Brooklyn somewhere, and my guys are getting down on the fiddle and the banjo, people are getting that, and they're seeing that, you know, as you're creating, right? As you're creating and you're building and you're writing and, you know, sending out your messages and so on and so forth, you're way more closer aligned to that guy, wherever that guy is, or that girl, whoever they are, wherever they are, than you are different. So as you're, you know, when you catch that, you can build from there, right? And that's been, you know, the thing we've been trying to do for the last several years.
That's amazing. I mean, we have to say that putting hip hop and bluegrass together, I mean, who thinks of that except for our son?
No.
That's like the best
I
thing.
am not to blame. That was all Wrench. He's around here somewhere. It was his idea. He created the whole thing. I'll point him out when we get down tonight.
Right on.
God bless him.
Putting things that don't seem to belong together is one of the artist's great contributions to the society. Favi, how about you? What are you trying to move?
Yeah, so the narratives that I love to talk about is that what happens to you is connected to what happens to you, right? That we're interconnected. This culture makes us think we're all individuals, but we're actually interconnected. I love to make art about our right to a safe and accessible abortion. I think that abortion is our human right. Bodily autonomy is something that I work on as well. The fact that we have sovereignty over our bodies, and that means that you can decide the best healthcare that is for you, including gender-affirming healthcare. I also believe that we should not have borders, that borders are man-made, and nature did not have borders, and so we need to move towards a culture where we treat immigrants with respect. Immigrants help sustain our culture and our economies, and we wouldn't be eating if it weren't for immigrants. So why don't we treat immigrants like the heroes they are? And to leave your home is so incredibly difficult. And then finally, I think one of the narratives that I like to work on too is joy and pleasure, right? Like when I was growing up and I was being mentored by the Panthers, I remember that it was all about like fighting and struggle. And I think we need to also feel joy and love, and that can motivate us too, because if you think about it, if you're always fighting, you can't do that all the time. You also got to be loving and, just being open to joyful experiences. So those are the kinds of things that I try to communicate in my art.
That's awesome. Thank you. How about you, Joseph?
I guess it's a narrative. I think what MySpace is generally just trying to do is normalize activism and have people understand that it's not just voting, it is the constant struggle against the system, the constant pushing up against politicians, the constant need for us to understand that we can't just passively accept our tax dollars going to war, our tax dollars going to policing, over-policing, and that there just needs to be more spaces that, emphasize this. It's not going to get easier if we are not more active. So I think that's just what we're trying to do.
So you're partly saying, Joseph, I hear you saying that people think of democracy as voting, but...
No, it's our right to
But you
to
use the word
protest.
constant. Yeah.
Protest, get in the streets, right. Go to the Senate, confront the senators, do these things, bother them. That's a part of it, too. And I think it's not just waiting to vote.
Yeah, bother them. I think we should just take that away, all of us. Let's talk a little bit about audiences and who you're hoping engages your art. And here we're going to start with you, Joseph. Who are the people you're trying to reach? And you mentioned protest. What do you want them to do? What do you want them to think as you're drawing audiences to your work or the work at your center?
Like I was saying, it's mainly trying to pull visual artists and musicians and performers into the political realm to get them to sort of get away from the trappings of materialism and capitalism, get them back into making art for people. So that's my primary audience, is radicalizing artists.
Amazing. How about you, Favi?
Well, I love my fellow artists. I think that, we are so important in culture, and yet, that a lot of artists are exploited. A lot of times, it's very hard for artists to find consistent work. We are an unorganized workforce. And even what you just said, should I go to art school? Well, I don't know if you know, art school is one of the most expensive places you can go to school. It's actually more expensive to go to art school than to go to law school, if you're going to some of these major art schools. Our cultural system is a system of white supremacy. Like, if you wonder why you mostly see films with white actors, or most of the books that are being published are by white authors, or most of the children's books don't have kids of character, it's because our cultural system is racist. And of course, the dominant powers are gonna have their hands in culture because culture is so powerful. So when I make art, I'm about speaking to my fellow creatives who are, ready to open their minds. And I'm about actually speaking to people who have my experience. So I'm somebody who has had abortions in my lifetime. I grew up in Oakland, California. I grew up in a city impacted by injustice. And so I feel like the powerful thing about art is that it's like universal, right? Like, there's so many bridges that can be made, and I I think that as artists, we're all speaking from our lived experience, and so when we say our experience, it like creates a bridge to other people.
Arson.
Everybody. Everybody. And you're right about that art school being expensive thing. My daughter's in art school in Chicago. Bruh. That thing. I only have one kidney left. I'm not gonna tell you why. No, no, and I've said this before, I want the music that we're making and the stuff that we're putting out, I want it for everybody, right? Because in what we're creating, there is something for everybody. Not everybody's gonna get all the slang, you're not gonna get all the idea, but something about it, right, is going to catch you from the standpoint of, you know what, my grandfather used to play the banjo. That sounds kind of dope. Let me see if I can get a piece of that. And then the hope is that, as you hear some of it, right, as you hear whatever bit catches you, you get caught up in the rest of it. That's the goal is for anybody that's hearing it for whatever single reason to get all of it. And for you, once you get all of it, once you hear all of it, you start to understand that none of this is to push you away. I'm trying to bring you in. We're trying to bring you in on all of this with the things we're saying, with the music that we're making, and over thousands of shows. I've had one guy that was like, nope, and he just walked out. That's fine. I'll take that one. It's not going to be, but I want everybody to experience it, and at the very least get the thing from it that is you, because there's a little bit of all of us in all of it. Right? So, that's what we're trying to do. It's trying to make it as broad a thing as, and the kind of thing that will sort of bring in everybody.
Yeah. I think it's so important for people to have an experience of multiracial community, or of any community. Quite often, people are really isolated. And our communities are extremely segregated. The U.S. is racially very, very segregated. And if we want people to be taking action in the way where I recognize that what happens to you also happens to you, also happens to me, they have to first feel like they're in the same community. And I think sometimes organizers and activists don't think so much about that. They're like always trying to get people to do the action, or write to Congress, or go vote, or it's a little bit leveled up. And a lot of what the three of you are doing is helping create spaces where people can just experience being together and not being afraid of each other. So I think that's beautiful. I commend it. I think we have time for the bonus question, so I'm going to ask it. I want to know what is either the best or the worst reaction to your offerings that you've ever experienced. Not both. Pick one, either the best reaction or the worst reaction, and tell us the effect it had on you. I think we might we'll start with whoever's ready here.
The best reaction. I wrote in one of the verses that I wrote this line that said, "I'm always the more, so nevertheless." And a young lady out in Oregon, that touched her so much that she got it tattooed on her arm. Right? And just the idea that something that I said, like there was another lady that got my signature tattooed on her arm. That's different. Like the fact that a verse that I created meant so much to somebody. They were like, I need this with me forever. That for me was like, all right, cool, I'm good.
Yeah, daily reminder for sure.
For me, it was an art piece that I made that says migration is beautiful, and it has a monarch butterfly. And that, the monarch butterfly is the species with the longest migration route. It's the insect with the longest migration route. And it goes from Mexico through the United States and Canada. And it doesn't carry a passport. It doesn't need a visa. It flies because nature moves, like everything moves. We are human beings, we have been moving since the beginning of time, just like the butterflies and the birds. And what I have most loved, I made that piece in 2012, and I actually showed it first at the Democratic National Convention to protest Obama's record-breaking deportations, right? Because Obama was deporting a lot of immigrants, and so we had people wearing the monarch butterflies. We had huge banners with butterflies. And to this day, you won't believe how many like school districts and just communities around the country want that butterfly for their classrooms because it's a way to say, hey, your migration story is beautiful. And most recently, I've been working with a lot of like conservationists in like really red states who are like, hey, this has spoken to me because we study these animals and sometimes we forget we human beings, we're part of nature, right? We're not different than nature, we're part of nature. And so when we celebrate our connection to nature, we can imagine a world perhaps in the future without borders.
Thank you. Joseph?
It's kind of weird, but I think someone once came to me, her name is Dima, and she told me that because of our, sorry?
I'm sorry. Can we get some intervention into conversation? It's hard to hear on the stage, and it's hard to hear Joseph. So thank you. Thank you so much. I'm gonna just say that again. Perfect, thank you. Go for it, Joseph.
It was just someone who commented to me about our work around Palestine, that she would just come, she's Palestinian, and she would just come to our gallery and kind of sit in a corner and cry because it was like the only place she felt safe and supported. And I think for me that felt very validating to what the space is meant to do and how it's created to make people feel. And I got that a few times over the past year, and it made me very proud.
I think making a space where people can come and feel less alone is really heroic work, really amazing work. Okay, last question for anybody who wants to answer. How do you hold the integrity of your work? How do you make sure that other people don't, take butterflies and make them into a symbol of prisons or something? How do you look after the quality, the value of your work?
I'm just amused by the idea of prison butterflies. So nice one. Hip hop is that sort of thing has happened with hip hop culture. Like the culture has been, you sort of watch it skew, right, towards a lot of negativity, and it's not the sort of thing where I'm against the idea of people's whatever stories they're telling, right? But I think that all of those stories are important. So for every Young Thug record, there's got to be a Black Star record. For every Future record, there's got to be a Blue in Exile record. Like all of that stuff has to exist because when you're trying to tell these stories to people, and the whole world knows who for example Drake is, right? And it's a very sort of lowest common denominator sort of level thing. And most of those people don't know who, for example, Talib Kweli is. For example, when you see that dichotomy exist, the hardest part is making sure that the representation of the entire culture exists. And so what I've been trying to do, and what Gangstagrass is trying to do, is trying to represent the culture as an entirety, so that the entire world is seeing the entirety of the culture, not just the parts that are making the most money for the dominant power structure.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I'm going to go to Joseph next, and Favi, you'll have the last word, if you want. How you protect the integrity of your work?
I feel like the best way is to make the most challenging controversial and, push the envelope as much as you can and dare people to try to challenge it.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's real. The more controversial you make things, the harder it is to steal it. I think it comes down to ownership. It really comes down to owning what you create. And so to your point, who was owning those record labels that then prioritize profits, right? So who owns it? Who at the end of the day is on those board of directors that is about exploiting your story and twisting it and actually making people feel division and fear. But when you own it and you're able to say, this is what I want to do with it's called IP, with my intellectual property, I want to move it in this way, and it's going to be according to these values, that's where we have power. Because you know what? The Netflix, the streamings, the Amazons, they do not care about art. They care about profit. They care about your eyeballs. And so we have to divest from the big cultural ecosystem and invest in each other as cultural workers. And so support the artists that you care about, go to their shows, read their books, buy art, go to galleries, and really think about how you can support creators who are aligned with the same values that you're aligned to.
Thank you so much. Joseph, Fabiana, Arson, St. Louis, Race Forward, and Americans for the Arts. Appreciate you.
Man, this is a beautiful night. Beautiful event. I want to thank Race Forward and Americans for the Arts for allowing me to be a part of this and represent St. Louis in this fashion, man. It's beautiful, beautiful, man. I'm so glad that we can all be here tonight, that y'all came out in the rain. Gangstagrass about to get up here and kill it, man, so do not leave. We far from done, because we're going to party after that. All right, y'all, right about now, representing y'all. You may know them from the theme song from the show Justified on FX. They are pretty much creating a new genre of music, combining bluegrass and hip-hop. St. Louis, they done came down. They say Brooklyn in the house. Show your love for Gangstagrass.
St. Louis, what's up? Nope. St. Louis, what's up?
I hear that train come rolling, and you know I'm bound to ride. I hear that train come rolling, I gotta move on down the line.
My mind can make Mount Everest out of a molehill. No brand name game, my budget is no frills. The show skills are so ill. After a scene, the audience needs to be quarantined. This the road is a rhyme. We follow in the samurai code, but we don't take orders from the shogun. Maintaining independence like a slave on a lamb. So I'm writing freedom songs for the sake of my fam. No mistaken ram for the norm, I'm above that. This is the beginning, the potential is untapped. I rhyme for heads wondering, where is the love at? I rhyme to keep hip-hop alive. Fools just rap, cold as flakes of snow on Arctic glaciers. Try to copy my style like carbon paper. The sub-zero nature of the words that I'm writing will leave you hypothermic from all the frost biting.
Hear that train come rolling.
As soon as the beat drops, he'll stomp to the floor.
You know I'm bound to ride.
When the bows hit the fiddle, he'll live a little more.
Hear that train come rolling.
As soon as the beat drops, he'll stomp to the floor.
I gotta move on down the line.
I said it don't want war. Cause my brother's hardcore.
Still, hold the bubble out the woods with the shiners. Open up your tap and pull some style with your cider. I got a heap and helping up some beef for you biters. Sharpen your incisors, allow me to oblige you. Write a million pages, trap and keep it in the binder. Paint a vivid picture over pristine primer. Running with a shovel, chasing rabbits out the briar. Double up your trouble, pouring fuel on the fire. Your goose is cooked, hear the buzz on the timer. Sunshine units clicking on your Geiger. Sweet cruise through the lyrical refiner. Canary in the shaft, sending warnings to the miners. No sense of jumping in the pit with the tigers. Go and practice up and get your flows a little tighter. Tell me what the find at the freedom of the fighter. Them crybabies defecating in their diapers.
Hear that train come rolling.
Soon as the beat drops, he'll stomp to the floor.
You know I'm bound to ride.
When the bows hit the fiddle, he'll give a little more.
Hear that train come rolling.
Soon as the beat drop, he'll stomp to the floor. Come on, squad's hardcore, come on. Yo, St. Louis, I have a fear of wide open spaces. I need y'all to come join me up here, man. Come join me up here. I'm scared of these wide open spaces. Get up out your seat. Rock out with the world's greatest bluegrass hip-hop band. Yo, St. Louis, I need y'all. Come here.
Don't be scared.
No, come here, seriously. Come here, y'all. Listen, we all family now. Y'all are all cousins. So, like, if you in the back chilling, yo, come on, man. I need all of y'all out here. Come on. Out here. Not back there, out here. Let's go.
All right. Streets of the city, people all around, and I still walk alone. Nobody gonna miss me when I'm gone.
Listen, check this out. Look, I'm afraid of wide open spaces, so everybody come close to me, show your faces. Don't worry about buying the merch or being back there getting photographed by church or anybody else on their booths and such. Gangstagrass is right over here with much too much. And when the mic is in my clutch, I got a story to tell. See, I want y'all to rock out with us just as well. Now, if your knees hurt and you don't want to stand, I understand. But if you came through here to dance, I'm coming through with y'all, giving y'all not the underhand but the fastball. And I'm blowing it right past y'all. See, I gotta rock this for y'all. All my people here representing the Cardinals. And I'm sorry that you lost your Rams, but damn, y'all, come rock out with the Gangstagrass band.
Keep rambling, no place to call my home.
Oh, come on, come on, come on.
Streets of the city, people all around, and I still walk alone.
Still I walk alone.
Nobody gonna miss me when I'm gone.
Yeah, check it. Well, man, I hit them with that therapeutic doses. Tell me who the most sick. I stay away from opiates, but guaranteed the dopest. Deep water flow, need a vessel you can float with. Tidal wave coming out the 850 coast with a whole click. Shining with a laser beam focus. Take it to a level much higher than most get. Higher than you can ever get with psychotropics. No hyperbole, so you can go ahead and quote this. In whatever medium you choose. I'm so up on my game, I forgot what it's like to lose. It's verified the sloop, nothing left to prove. It's at the proper definition of the verbiage that I use. I'm standing on the shoulders of a giant with my shoes worn down to the soles from the payment of my dues from the juke joint. Jamming muddy waters with the blues. If you don't know by now, you need to act like you do. I'm rambling,
no place to call my home.
Well, come on, come on, come on.
Streets of the city, people all around, and I still walk alone.
Still I walk alone.
Nobody gonna miss me when I'm gone.
All right. Give me some. So that thing I was talking about earlier, when I was telling y'all about a pick, that's what we got right here. Check my squad out. So we got one more for y'all. It's an election year, so we're hoping to have this replace the current national anthem. This is gonna be out to be your new national anthem, ladies and gentlemen. It's our last one. St. Louis, thank y'all so much. Race Forward, thank y'all so much. Everybody up here, you guys are the best. Y'all ready to rock out one more joint? Yippee-ki-yay! Yeah. Got some banjo fiddle with some raps, it's a surge. If your toes in, found out that it slapped you disturbed, cause you know what it really is. Crack what you heard, coming back with some birds. Whole stack of chicken paws, pick apart, stick a sick of thoughts in my wicked art. From the paint, take it to the hole, you can pick apart. Make a low down up in this piece, beat a bigger shark. Hella rosa team, shred up the chosen beef, frozen beef, cooked up on the stove, cause you chose to sleep. Wolves out, all these lamb chops I'm supposed to eat. Boots down, stomping on your toes, leaving broken feet. Close to me, that's my dog, we supposed to be taking out foes with their mindset of opposing these certified, bona fide flows, man, we talking you can't stand walking in the town, drink the golden fleet. Man, I jack that beat, I pull out my pen and pimp slap that beat. You hear me rhyming, spitting certified diamonds. The beat drops, you know I'm about to chime in. Come on, rock that beat, Molly walk that beat. Get it, get it, get it, get it. Beat jack 'em, pimp slap 'em. Gangstagrass here to make you bang your head. With the old man ran upon that anchor leg. From Anchorage to Anglewood, we travel worldwide to bring the bang up on your block. Ain't a damn thing orthodox about the way we get it done. Create statuses, composing curriculums. You better keep your grades up. The lion in the winter is devouring you lame ducks. That's why the bills keep stacking up. I write in terabytes, the cloud can't even back it up. Shining like Maximus, are you entertained? Lyrics from these two MCs blowing through your brain. I go against the grain, show my royal oats. Swear to my squad and keep my loyal oath. But careful the direction that you going in, bloke. Step to the guard, you catching that holy smoke. Man, I rap that beat. Pull out my pen and pimp slap that beat. You hear me rhyming, spitting certified diamonds. The beat drops, you know I'm about to chime in. Rock that beat. Molly walk that beat. Get it, get it, get it, get it,
you so much. We are Gangstagrass.